pushback and the increasing of human senses. May 4, 2015. I've wanted to have a session for a few days now, but it's only now I've felt like this was possible. I felt some sort of weird pressure that made me resistant to opening my field enough for the type of communion to happen. This is truly strange to me because I really don't feel like the conversations we have are coming from outside me at all. I don't fear this, and yet, this pressure felt like energy I didn't wish to have in my space. Can you speak to this? Aster. We can. We know and honor that for you, from the level of vibration you're currently embodying, it's an important consideration to monitor your vibration, and to be mindful of what this is. We saw, and we see, there's been some wild permutations of energy on the surface of Gaia. This is what you've been feeling, and we'd also say there's been a push for some to take advantage of this in ways that wouldn't be considered for the good of all, but rather would serve to confuse and to unbalance those who serve in for the good of all mode. There's little those who are devoted to service to self, to the degree of harming others, can do to stop the vibrational shift that permeates all forms throughout the universe at this time. However, there's a push with hidden technologies for this to happen. The thought and intent is to use whatever is necessary to uncenter, and therefore, neutralize, those who are finally discovering and experiencing the power of aligning with divine principles. This is the same as saying for the good of all, for the well-being of the whole, for bringing into integration and health again the totality of Gaia and all her kingdoms. Efforts to disturb this move to new paradigms are happening, though in limited scope, as the energy to support long-term or consistent pressure to maintain these illusions is no longer possible. Are you confirming my suspicion that what I was feeling was some sort of pressure in the form of technology to artificially unbalance me, or us, as the case may be? Aster. Yes, and we recognize that this is a fearful issue for you that inhabit the surface right now of Gaia. We'd like to honor that you felt the resistance and followed your intuition to sidestep the press of this intent coming from factions that are looking to hijack or distort the information we share. Thank you for the confirmation, Aster. But now I'm feeling a rush of sadness. It's been a long time since I've felt in any way like I'm susceptible to any outer fluctuations of energy like this has presented to me. I thought that part of my journey was over, and it's sad to think this isn't so. Aster. Dear sister, we attend you. Though a wind may blow between us now and then, we stop attending you never. The connection we have is timeless and without any tangible form. It can't be severed, as our beingness is comprised of it. There is much more for you to expand into in order to experience this truth, but we tell you now it is so, always. The movement of the many will follow the movement of what is now the few. Those few out in the front of this movement will endure some of the brunt of the pushback. This is also a portion of the agreement made by those who came to play the roles of forerunners and path cutters. Allow the sadness to pass, as it is nothing. It has no power to change the tides of universal song that play now in the essence of all that exists. This song is playing for all, for the willing and for the resistant too. All beings will hear it in the essence of their being. It will vibrate all beings like a string on an instrument. None will be capable of escaping the power and glory of this shift. Whatever efforts to delay this shift or any other resistances are futile, but with free will there will be the interplay of those who are abiding in the fear of the consequences of their choices, and in the fear of change. We watch the playing out of all this from our space, which is beyond the discomfort you're feeling. Please know that a significant portion of you is here with us now and throughout all time. In reality, there's no harm that may come to you, no matter what happens. I hear you and I acknowledge that I do know this. It's simply that it feels like slipping back into those places where I felt I was lost in a sea of madness and abandoned on an alien planet. I'd even forgotten this is how I used to feel all the time. Aster. The senses of the collective are increasing in power and in awareness at this time. It will soon become apparent that there is no one who isn't able to utilize those senses that have been historically seen as special. The truth is that all these psychic senses are a part of the human package and have been suppressed purposely. The raising vibrations will awaken them again for all, though many will not honor them in their reality for some time to come. It will take some time for those who fear their own abilities to recognize vibrations around them, and time for them to learn to read into what their senses are telling them to. A chaotic period resulting from this shift into a more aware mode of sensing for humankind is now in full swing, and it will continue for a long time to come. Remaining balanced is key, and yet, the integration of the collective field of humanity which is coming to awareness will make this a challenge for all, and very chaotic indeed for some. This makes sense to me what you're saying now. No wonder this rush of sadness then. It's more than my own. I see this now. Aster. Yes. It will take some practice to take on this increasingly sensitive human awareness and to integrate it without allowing it to unbalance or distort one's personal field with its power and collective force. Like a mighty wind, it will blow through the human collective and create quite a lot of discomfort before it settles down again. Allow for this discomfort to pass and find the way to retain your personal balance within this storm. We tire you again. Come again soon, and we attend you always with love. Farewell for now and thank you, Aster. Channeled by Andrea Scully. AndreaStarOO.com